Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to do a deep dive
Okay.
into rediscovering passion and finding inspiration in unexpected places.
That's good.
We're going to be looking at a short story called
Hmm.
The Stranger Who Changed My Life, a story of rediscovered passion.
Okay.
And one of the takeaways I think we're going to find is that sometimes the smallest encounters can have the biggest impact on our lives.
Yeah, you never know where inspiration is going to come from, right?
Right. So in this story, we have Emma, a talented artist who's kind of struggling with a creative block.
It happens to the best of us.
She is. And she's feeling really lost,
Right.
uninspired. And the story paints this really kind of vivid scene. It's a rainy autumn evening,
Ah.
and then she meets Henry, this elderly man sitting on a park bench, and he's sketching.
Okay.
And I think this is a classic setup for a transformative experience.
Right.
How often do we walk by those moments
Mm-hmm.
without even realizing the potential?
Every day, probably.
Yeah. And the story emphasizes these small details like the raindrops glistening on the bench, and you can really feel her inner turmoil.
Yeah.
And she's drawn to his work.
Yeah.
They strike up a conversation, and we learn that Henry's this retired architect,
Okay.
and he's got a fascinating past. But the real turning point, I think, is when he challenges her
Yeah.
to draw a hidden memory, something that she's never shared with anyone.
So he's going a little bit deeper than just
Yeah.
surface level chit chat.
Right. It's not just technical advice.
Yeah.
It's like he's encouraging her to really connect with her emotions.
To get vulnerable.
Yes, to tap into a deeper source of creativity.
I like it.
And it makes you think about the root of her block. Is it fear of judgment?
Sure.
A lack of confidence?
Could be.
Maybe she's just disconnected from the emotional core of her art.
All of those, probably.
Yeah. Well, the story doesn't explicitly say, but you can kind of sense that she had lost touch with that raw, vulnerable part of herself.
Right.
And then as she takes on Henry's challenge, you can feel her transform.
Uh-huh.
She starts creating pieces inspired by these deeply personal memories, and her work just explodes with emotion and authenticity.
Interesting.
And the story mentions that people are moved to tears by her art. It's really quite,
Oh, wow.
yeah. I mean, she finds success,
That's great.
but more importantly, she rediscovers her passion.
It's not always about success. It's about
Right.
getting back to that root and finding the thing that you love again.
Exactly. And, that reminds me, sometimes we get stuck, whether it's creatively or another area in our lives.
Totally.
What's the turning point?
Right. Like what gets us out of that rut?
Yes. Was there someone who helped you kind of break through that?
A lot of times there is someone.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And the story ends on this really poignant note. Emma goes back to the park. She's hoping to find Henry and thank him,
Oh, nice.
but the bench is empty.
Ah.
And we don't know what happened to him, but his impact on her life is undeniable. It really drives home the point that even a brief encounter can have a lasting impact.
That's true.
And I think for all of us, it's a reminder to be open to these unexpected connections, to the wisdom that other people can offer.
Yeah.
We never know who might change our life.
Mm.
Maybe on a rainy evening or a sunny afternoon.
Or just bumping into someone at the coffee shop.
Right, at the grocery store, wherever.
Yeah.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, I think it's so important for all of us to think about what hidden memories or experiences could inspire our next project.
Yeah. What's in there?
Yeah. And maybe it's time to tap into those deep wells of emotion and let them fuel our passion.
That's really good advice.
And keep in mind,
Yeah.
true inspiration often lies in connection and vulnerability,
And you never know who you're going to inspire.
right?
It's kind of like a chain reaction, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
You never know who's waiting to inspire you or who you might inspire in return.
That's very true.
Thanks for joining me today,
Thank you for having me.
and we'll see you next time for another deep dive.
Okay. See ya.